Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 252. Oh, it's Friday. Thank goodness. What's going on? Kind of a thin array of topics today. But I didn't really do much in the hobby yesterday. I was consumed with work throughout the day. Um, did some shipping last night. Also did some penny sleeving. Penny sleeved up a few hundred cards for quarter boxes for the upcoming card show. What's up, Herman? Good morning. Card show is April 17th, a week from tomorrow, next Saturday, Madison Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive in Madison, Wisconsin. So looking forward to that. Getting geared up, getting my quarter boxes ready for the show. I did publish the blog post last night regarding Top Stock, the history of Top Stock. It was pretty fascinating to research the history of the stock and just kind of seeing the parallels to the junk wax era. What's up, Brad? Good morning. So what I alluded to yesterday when I talked about junk wax era and kind of how my mind in hindsight thinks of the junk wax era as far as timing goes, I always thought the junk wax era hit in like 94. What's up, George? Good morning. Like, because not only the Major League Baseball strike was happening in 94, but I think the NHL went on lockout the same year. I think both baseball and hockey were locked out in 94. And so I was thinking that's kind of what, we were coming off the early 90s. And when I see like 93, 94 tops, I still think junk wax. But really the bubble burst, and there were signs in 92, as early as 92. And when I was looking and reading some of these newspaper articles, the signs were already starting to show in 92. And then by January 93, the stock had just tanked because the bubble had burst. So I didn't realize that. So I'd love to pick the brain of like Mark Hoyle or Rich Klein, because they were adults in that era. I was just a kid, so my take on the whole hobby is skewed because my mind was, I was still a child, so I wasn't thinking in real world terms during that period of collecting. So I'd love to get somebody who was living through it as an adult, how things transpired in the early 90s. So that was really cool. What's up, Herman? You got next Saturday to do that. So that was pretty fascinating. The blog post is up 1millioncubs.com. There was also and I actually included it in the article from a newspaper article in the, I don't know if it was in the late 80s or early 90s, but it was kind of some insight on what tops can share. Zach, what's up? Good morning. And I'm glad Zach's with us because Zach asked yesterday, what can they what can they reveal now that they're, once they go public? And so they're still pretty tight-lipped on many things. And I was actually this morning, that's why I was a little late getting on. I was trying to find that article that I had referenced it in the blog post, but it just didn't fit in the flow of the story. It was more on the stock itself and the parallels to the junk wax era at that time. So it was kind of clunky. So I deleted that paragraph out because it just didn't fit with the story. But it was Norman Liss was the public relations manager for Topps during that time period in the 80s and 90s. And so he went on record and shared, we made X amount of baseball cards in 19 whatever year it was, 87 or 88. But he could not reveal how many other cards they made. So he couldn't even, so he wasn't, was not permitted, was the language used. He was not permitted to reveal how many football cards, how many basketball cards, how many hockey cards, how many non-sports cards Topps produced in that time period. He could only reveal how many baseball cards they printed. And then it went in to Zach's question about case pricing. There was actually part of that article went into prices of cases. Topps could not reveal that information, but the writer had interviewed basically a distributor or a wholesaler, and so he shared his pricing. And so they did like the math on, okay, if this is wholesale pricing, it's costing Topps less than this per card. So it went into detail. So I'll try to find that, and maybe I'll do a separate article that shares some of the printing numbers from that period of time, because that was pretty interesting as well. What Topps did reveal publicly and what they could not share. So that gave a little insight into that period of time. Now, again, that was 30 plus years. That was probably, was that 30 plus? Yeah, unfortunately, that was 30 plus years ago. So, I'm not privy to what companies have to, because now after Enron, there's the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, and it's a whole different ball game into what's reported, what's transparent. So I don't know how. I don't know if things have changed as far as what, but I assume they can't drill down, and they don't have to share, detailed information as far as, how much it costs to produce a card or a case, to that point. So it was pretty interesting in kind of reading through the history of Topps, and I'm a total nerd for that. So it was a lot of fun. So the main topic I wanted to touch on today was Project 70, and I haven't touched on Project 70 in a while. And I did buy. I've got the Ernie somewhere around here, my messy desk, that I actually bought something to organize this space that I haven't used. So this is the only Project 70 card that I have bought. And what's up, David? This is the only Project 70 card that I plan to buy until another Cubs card comes out. However, yesterday there was a trio of cards that is pushing me to the brink of purchasing some non-Cubs Project 70 cards. And I guess I take that back. This isn't the only Project 70 card I bought, because I did buy the Canseco, the two that accompanied Ernie Banks in the trio. So I bought the three. George says the recent Babe Ruth done pissed people off. Yeah, I don't get it. Ron English is straight trolling people, and I love it. So yeah, the Babe Ruth that George is referencing was Wednesday's release, and there were two Yankees on Wednesday: Derek Jeter, Babe Ruth, and Ichiro. I dig the Jeter. The Jeter was pretty cool in the pennant design from '65 by Pose, and it's got Jeter basically in a posing shot with stars in his eye. His top half of his face is replaced. He's got some stars. His hat explodes, and Derek Jeter is coming out of his hat. That's a pretty cool card. The Babe Ruth doesn't do it for me, because it looks just like a card with Babe Ruth with muscles. Yeah, and like George says, people not happy with that. Same artist, Ron English, that did the Yogi Berra. And I think the Yogi Berra was also in the 1970 Topps design as well. So I wonder if Ron English is doing all of his in that 70 design. And then Sean Witherspoon did the Ichiro in a 1956, and it's pretty cool. It's probably I would probably, of the three, I would rank it second personally, behind the Jeter. I like the Jeter, and then I'd probably go Ichiro, and then the Babe Ruth. But yesterday pushed me to buy a trio of Project 70 cards without a Cub, because I absolutely love these, because this is the style that I like. I love Ermsey. Ermsey is my favorite artist. Although what's his name? What's the monster guy? Shoot, I'm drawing a Pardee. Alex Pardee is up there. So Alex Pardee and Ermsey are my favorite artists in Project 70. And so Ermsey did Doc Ellis in the 90 Tops design with Ellis pitching to it looks like Jimi Hendrix actually. And it's all psychedelic because Doc Ellis pitched that was it a perfect game or a no-hitter where he was high on acid. So it's super trippy. I absolutely love it. I think it's gonna approach Alex Pardee numbers as far as print run. It's just such a cool card, and it's awesome. What I love is it's not Derek Jeter, it's not Mickey Mantle, it's not Babe Ruth, it's not Mike Trout, it's not Ronald Acuna. It's not one of these mainstream guys. It's Doc Ellis, and I freaking love it. This card is so cool. I want it, but I'm so far I have 2 days, 4 hours and 26 minutes. But I think I'm going to hold off and not purchase these because I'm sticking to my Cubs only. I'll buy others if they come with a Cub. So I'll buy the 3 to save, a few bucks on the trio. The Max Scherzer, love it. 81 Tops design. Technically it's like the O-Pee-Chee design because it's 81 and it's got the Lanceur. It's got the French Canadian below pitcher. He's in a Montreal Expos uniform, which I love. So it's got the Expos hat. It's Mad Max, so it's like he's turning into a werewolf. So I don't know if that's a play on. It looks like it's a play on Teen Wolf. I don't know, but he's got like wolf hands. His hands have turned to wolf, and he's got one of those like red satin jackets from like the early 80s. And he's holding open his jacket, and it reveals a t-shirt, Mad Max. It's in the 81 Tops design. Super cool. I was a Montreal Expos. I liked the Expos growing up as a kid because I liked the red, white, and blue. I liked their logo. I kind of loosely collected Expos. I just thought the Expos were super cool. Here is a really strange story about my love for the Montreal Expos as a kid. So I actually blogged about this a couple years ago when the Washington Nationals were in the World Series, not this past year, but a few years back. So about was it 10 years ago? No, it was more. It was 10 or 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. I received a Facebook message from a woman that I didn't know. And so it was just kind of a vague message on Facebook. And I looked her up. She had gone. So I was living in Macomb, Illinois, worked at the radio station, hadn't gone back to school there yet, but she'd gone to WIU. She was a fan of the radio station page. I had a lot of people that would just friend me because they heard me on the radio. So I just thought it was somebody who listened to that station. She then revealed she thinks her husband is my brother. This is Jerry Springer. This is totally Jerry Springer. Jerry. So it's like a long paragraph. So it's like 10 o'clock at night, like on a Wednesday night. Okay. And I don't have a family tree. I have a family forest. Like I have 29 first cousins. So to have like a long lost brother for my family, it's not totally out of the realm. My dad was married 4 times total. My mom was his fourth and final wife. They were married he passed away 5 years ago, but they were married for 35 years before he passed away. That outlasted his previous 3. So I called my parents. they were either getting ready for bed or already asleep. My mom answers. I said, Mom, do I have a brother? So I have a brother, my brother Corey. And she, I think she knew what was going on, and she just kind of played it off. Well, yeah, Corey. No, do I have another brother that I don't know about? And then she goes, I'm gonna give the phone to your dad. So my dad answers, and I broach the subject with him, and he goes, well, it's possible. So he shared the insights into the situation. So I continued to chat with my brother, my sister-in-law. He is my brother. He lives now in Myrtle Beach. He actually lived in the area. He lived in the area at the time, and then his family moved to Myrtle Beach a few years ago. So we chatted. We ended up meeting like the following weekend, and so we're talking. We're at a local bar, and he's wearing a Washington Nationals hat, and obviously I'm a big Cubs fan, and I'm like gonna rib him about being a Nationals fan. And oh, Herman's in Myrtle Beach now. Say hi to my brother. So I give him some crap. I'm like, what are you doing being a Nationals? Because remember, this is probably 2010, 2009. So I guess the Nationals were fairly, when did they start? 07, 06, 05, somewhere in there. So the Nationals were still kind of a fairly new team. And this was this would have been pre-Bryce Harper, I guess. Pre-Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg. Strasburg might have been around the time he was, because it was like right around 09-10 when this all went down. So I'm giving him crap about the Nationals, and all of a sudden he drops this bombshell on me. He goes, well, I'm only a Nationals fan because I grew up a Montreal Expos fan. And I'm like, really? So like, I had that personal connection to the Montreal Expos as a kid because of Yuppie and their logo and their color scheme. That was it. I liked their colors. I kept this to myself, and I said, well, you grew up here, right? Why are you an Expos fan? And he responds, I just love their colors, and their logo was cool. Completely dumbfounded. So I'm like, I think this guy's my brother. So that's how I met my long lost brother, and our shared connection with our childhood Montreal Expos. It was his favorite team, my second favorite team as a little kid, and it was just and he's still a Nationals fan. He when Expos moved to Washington, he became a Nationals fan, and he stuck through their really crappy times when they had the number one pick a couple years in a row. So then they played the Nationals and Cubs played in the playoffs. So we went back and forth. But I was happy that the Nationals won. I forget, they all run together now. Last year, or 2 years ago, when the Nationals went to the World Series. So yeah, that was my that's my story about the Montreal Expos and the brother that I met at age 28 or however old I was. So there you go. So I hope Herman is enjoying the beach. Herman shared with me that he had an interesting card shop experience. So I can't wait to hear that on Monday night on 3B Collections channel. I'm interested to hear Herman's experience at the card shop this week. So that's all I have for now. I think Brad is coming up. Check him out on Texas Card Dude channel. I'm going to run. No plans to hit up Target today. I may pop in just to see. I don't even know what's being released anymore. I know that Bowman, we're still a couple weeks out of Bowman. I think that's the next baseball release that'll be popping up, at least that's like a mainstream release. I'm sure there's some other products coming out in the next couple weeks for baseball. Pretty heavy time for releases. So Texas Car Dude says, make sure you lean into your eBay store today. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I'll make sure you lean into your eBay store today. All right. I will do that. I don't know what that means. So that's what I had for today. David says he struck out on Prism basketball yesterday. Either it was too late or my Walmart got none. Just tons of Series 110s. Yeah. My advice for if you're looking for retail, especially Prism basketball, find out when they get stocked, and there's going to be a line of 40 people, and that's it's absolutely insane. I don't know. Follow Twitter today, because there's going to be a lot of pictures of lawn chairs outside of Target, people that camped out last night, and getting their Prism basketball. So I'm staying out of that. So and I don't even know if, like, I know a lot of Targets nationwide are going to the 8 a.m. Fridays, and that's why people are camping out for. And I don't get the and I've talked about this. I won't get on a soapbox about it, but I don't get all the, like, I know it's new for baseball cards, but people camp out all the time for video game releases or a midnight showing of a new movie, which probably doesn't happen as much as it did 20, 30, 40 years ago. But it's not like camping out overnight for a product isn't like something new. So I just don't get all the vitriol that is spewed regarding people camping overnight. If that's, like Brad says, you do you, boo. If that's what they want to do and that's how they want to spend their time, go for it. Do it. Doesn't bother me any. So yeah. So get off that soapbox. So that's what I had for today. Check out Brad coming up next on the Texas Card Dude channel. Have a great Friday, and we'll talk tomorrow.